So I was thinking I should make myself a Snow White costume. But then I got to thinking some more, and well, I'm not really that Snow White. But then I got thinking again, and well, you know what? I have a sister who is very Snow White. First things first, because first things always go first, is we're going to need some fabric for the dress. Second things second, we're going to need a pattern for the dress. And third things third, look at this cool book I got. It was only $2, and why would the third thing go fourth or second? It's third. Basically, I was thinking about using this curtain, my blackout curtains that help me sleep when it's sunny out because I work really late. I have a really weird schedule. Anyway, I was thinking about using these curtains for the Snow White bodice. But then I remembered that I have this dress that I actually bought with the initial intent of like straight up making it into a Snow White bodice. So I mean, I guess we'll use this. Sleep's a little more important. I also have this leftover blue sheet that I am going to use for the lining of this dress. Maybe you were thinking that I was going to use it for the sleeves because Snow White's sleeves are actually a lighter blue than the bodice, but you'd thunk wrong. Instead, I want to make the sleeves and the bodice the exact same color. And then I have this red dress for the slashes. And then I also have this scrap of fabric that was made and then I had to fart. Oh, 3 farts. And then I also have this scrap piece of fabric that was from this dress. It's left over from this dress that you've never actually seen because I never finished it. Anyway, it should be just enough to make the little gold line or piping or whatever that's on the front of Snow White's bodice. Now to take the pattern out of the pattern sleeve envelope. And now to take the bun out of my hair because, woo, I have got a headache. And I knew this would happen, but still they look so cute and they keep your hair out of the way. So anyway, freedom. Now this is a pretty dress, so I wanted to show you how pretty it was. And I think it needs to be appreciated in all its glory before I chop it up into pieces. So that was the front and this is the back, and it has this pretty bow on the top, which I love it. It's gorgeous. And we're just gonna chop off the skirt from the bodice, I guess. Yeah, just like that. Hello everybody, my name is Anna and thank you for tuning in today. Welcome to Slash Sleeves Class 101, where I will show you how to make slash sleeves in this class. But all silliness aside, you're going to have to cut out some sleeves. You can use a pattern like I did, or you can just go for it and wing it. You're going to want 2 lining pieces, and then you're going to want 2 sleeve pieces like this, which are going to be your outer fabric. Now I know you're not going to be able to see this pretty well because the lighting's weird, but there's like more of a blue on purple and a purple on blue, depending if you are looking at the right side or the wrong side. So I wanted to use the blue on purple for the sleeves and then the purple on blue for the bodice, just so there was a little bit of contrast. I went ahead and I put a pin on what I was going to use as my right side, that way I could keep track of which was the right side versus the wrong side. And then I took my pattern and I just pinned kind of where those little teardrop red slashes are going to be. And then I went ahead and I cut straight lines right down where those pins are. That way I would have spaces for those red slashes. That's what this is going to look like at this point. Now in order to make our red teardrops, or in my case slashes, we're going to need some red fabric. So I did this by lining up the sleeves in such a way with about a 2 to 3 inch gap. You'll need to cut out enough of these to fill in each of those gaps that we cut into the blue sleeve earlier, and then it's going to look a bit like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put right sides together and sew this together. Then you're going to put this right side to this right side, sew it together, and so forth. Haha, no pun intended. There's lots of sewing puns here. Anyway, you're going to go ahead and sew all of those together so that this is connected with all of the seams on the wrong side. And this is what that's going to look like. Ta-da-ta-da! It looks beautiful. As you can see, they won't come apart. They're sewn nice and tightly together. Looks great. And this is what it looks like from the back, just in case you were curious. There are raw edges, but it's okay because we'll line it later. And then this is what it looks like from the back once I sort of like pleated it, I guess. Basically, I just folded the blue over onto the red to give it that puffed slash bit. Basically, you're reattaching the blue all next to each other or back together so that the red is kind of on the inside, almost like a little window, if that makes sense. And here you can see a little bit more about how like that pleating works. It's just, like I said, the blue folded over right onto the red so that they meet together in the middle. They're so fluffy. Or puffy, that's what I meant. So we're going to take a break from our gorgeous sleeves over here, and we're going to get started on the bodice. Now, this is a cool little trick. I went ahead and I put the darts markings over here, and it's kind of hard to get the water-soluble pen to go all the way through. Anyway, so you just go ahead and poke a pin through the dot, and then what you can do is you can mark it on the back side, and then you can separate that, and then you can mark on here. So that's a cool quick tip. I don't know if that was necessarily so quick, but it's a cool tip. And then you're going to take your bodice pieces and you're going to sew darts into them. But you want to make sure you're doing this mirror image for each piece. Unfortunately, I sewed them exactly the same, and a seam ripper had to become involved. Basically, I don't have footage from when I re-sewed the darts back into the bodice the correct way, and some reason my poor dyslexic little brain thought that flipping the exact same video would somehow make more sense. I don't know. It is now day 3 of making the Snow White costume, and we need to get cracking down on it, because if I actually want to post a YouTube video, I need to make a video with content. So that's literally the only reason. But I have this Halloween costume that I really need to start working on, and I have these pants of my dad's that I need to fix the belt loop. They're dad jeans, and dads only own like 2 jeans, so these really are gonna have to take priority. Step 1 to fixing the broken belt loop on your dad's jeans. Find an old piece of jeans that is not part of your dad's jeans, and then cut it into a perfect little square like this. Then find the hole that is in the top of the jeans and line up the broken belt loop with said hole. Then take your tiny little denim square and put it on the back of the jeans, or the inside therefore. And then question yourself for saying the word therefore. The little square will act as an anchor for the belt loop so that it has something to hold on to on the inside, then sew. Now that we've gotten that importantness out of the way, we can go ahead and continue on the Snow White top. We're going to make that little yellow line that goes down the front of Snow White's bodice. Now I don't have any piping, so I'm just going to use this really thick yarn and put it in a casing of yellow fabric. Except that it didn't really work out like at all. It must have been cut on the bias or something. I don't know, but it was an absolute mess and it was just cracking me up, and it's still cracking me up. It's really hilarious, and I decided just not to have the yellow line down the front of the dress. But you know what did work out? The bodice without the yellow line down the front. It looks really, really great. I love it so much, and it looks really great with the sleeve. I mean, it's not connected or anything, but you know, it's looking good so far. And the sleeves! Now these next few steps are out of order, not because I edited them out of order, but because I straight up sewed out of order. I sewed the lining to the bodice, and then I added the boning. Then I went ahead and I top stitched the neckline of the bodice. After I was done top stitching, well, guess what? I put in the sleeves of the outer bodice. And then I put in the sleeves of the inner bodice. And this was totally the wrong order to do everything in. And I mean, it didn't really make it any harder, and it still looks great, but it just seems kind of ridiculous because it would have made so much more logical sense to go ahead and make both bodices, attach the sleeves, then the boning, and then the neckline, and then top stitch. Next, you need to take your sleeve and you need to go ahead and put it about 1 inch or 2 inches above the lining sleeve and just tack it down in place. You can also stuff the sleeves if you like, and this is just going to give it a little extra poof. But I really didn't want to finish the sleeves because I had gotten this sudden urge to take the drop leaf table, the one pictured here, that I had been storing in my normal standard size closet, and I wanted to put it in the center of my room so I could use it as a cutting table and actually have a use for it. So I went ahead and I organized my room a little bit, put away some clothes, etc, etc. I also took some measurements, which is important, but I realized that the table wasn't really going to work as well in the center of the room as I thought it would. But never fear, because I had a genius idea. If I put my bed in front of the closet and my dresser right here, almost in front of my door, I would be able to just jump into the closet from my bed. And I would save all that space because it's not like I need to be in my closet all the time. But then my father came in and he convinced me that that was a terrible idea, not because it was terrible, but because he had an even better idea. Thus, I got started on his idea. Also, since you're watching this time lapse anyway, I have a question. Obviously, when you wash your hands, you use a towel and you reuse that towel because it's clean because you washed your hands. When you take a shower, you can reuse the towel that you shower with because your body is clean. But how long is okay to keep using a towel? Like, I have a feeling I use my towel way too many times before I wash it, but I don't want to tell you because then you'll think I'm gross and you won't keep watching. And I barely have any subscribers as it is, so I can't scare any of you away. But like, do you think it's okay to use it twice, 3 times, a week, a month, a year? Just wondering. So I got into bed and I was really freaked out because all the lights were off, the windows closed, and all of a sudden I see this glowing thing. And it just happens, so happens, that that glowing thing is me. It kind of freaked me out. So yeah, that's that. It's the next day, I got home from work, I took a nap, everything's great. But I still am not really motivated to work on those sleeves at all. This week I've been having to work morning shifts and I'm just not used to it and I'm extra tired, so bleh. I recently found out that you can put sugar in your tea and oh wow, it is so much better. I'm gonna have to start drinking more tea. I also wasn't super hungry, so I had some bread and butter, except it wasn't actually butter. The bodice is looking pretty good. I went ahead and I finished the sleeves and I put on the band on the bottom of those sleeves. Now we have to put in a corset back just using ribbons. We're gonna sew in this modesty panel also, but before you do that, you're going to wanna go ahead and sew a binding along the bottom. Now in order to get those grommets, eyelets, or ribbons perfectly spaced out on the back of your corset, you're going to take a piece of paper that is the same length as the back of your bodice to make your corset. You're going to take that paper and you're going to keep folding it in half until you get to a suitable size, about 1 inch, half an inch, 2 inches, depending on what you're going for. And then you're going to unfold it and put it on the back side of your bodice. You're going to put your eyelets or your ribbon at every single point where there's a crease. This wasn't my idea, but I don't remember where I learned it. And now we have a perfectly beautiful lined bodice. I love how the blue and the red go with each other. It looks gorgeous. Now we'll just pair this with a simple tulle skirt that has elastic around the waistband. And here we have the pictures of my sister in the Snow White costume. She's trying to do some ballerina poses in these. She looks very, very cute. I'm happy with how the costume turned out. This one right here is probably one of my favorites. The color is great. And you know what? Who cares if you're Snow White? Or if you're milk chocolate brown, or dark chocolate brown, or pumpkin spice tan. Maybe you're banana pudding yellow, or apple red. Heck, maybe you're slime green. They're all great. Dress up as whoever you want to be, because you know what? At the end of the day, if we can't dress up as our favorite fictional characters, that would be a sad world to live in. Bye, thanks for watching.